Hey you guys, my name is Mara Sullivan and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video is about finding the beauty in life, in your own personal life, and in life in general. Sometimes life can be mundane, hard, difficult, ugly, and it can be extremely, hard at times to find the beauty in life and to remember that life is beautiful even though it does not always feel like it. And especially, depending on where you are in your life, the situation that you're in, the circumstances that you might be experiencing, life is just hard sometimes, but it is beautiful. I think that it's so important to remember that there are so many things that we take for granted every single day. If you're watching this, you have internet, and it's such a privilege to have internet access. We have so many things that I believe, especially in America, that we really do take for granted so often. And even though hard things happen, bad things happen, emotions are real, feelings are valid. It's important to remember that life is beautiful and that, again, we just have so many things that we do take for granted that are real privileges that we should be reminded of and remind ourselves of every single day. This video is one video in a series that I'm doing on here called It's a Spring Thing. There are so many themes of spring that we can apply to our normal lives, to, whatever season of life you might be in. There are so many, all of the themes of life like transition, beauty, nature, um, going through a rebirth, awakening. Like there are so many themes of the spring that can be applied to our own lives. And so that is the series that I'm doing. So if you have not seen the other videos in this series, go check those out. If you haven't seen the series that I did before it, this one called Galentine Wine Time, go check that out as well. I did a bunch of Galentine Day themed videos for Galentine's Day, covering all different girlhood, womanhood topics, everything from divine feminine to PMS to intimacy to dating, sex, just self care, like just a ton of fun girl chats. And so go check those out. Doing the Valentine's Day series made me realize that I love to do a series. And so we're going to roll right into the next series with this one. It's a spring thing. And so, like I said, today's video is about finding the beauty in life. And there are so many things that, like I said, we need to remind ourselves of when it comes to finding the good and reminding ourselves that life really is beautiful, even when it does not feel like it. One of the best ways to remind yourself of that is to make sure that you are living from the inside out and that you are chasing the internal world more so than the external. And when I say that, I mean, we all know that a lot of life, especially if you're around my age, I'm 26, a lot of life or most of life, we're taught to chase the external. We're taught to, you know, chase the money, the job title, the climb the corporate ladder, have the right partner, have the kids. Like a lot of it is external. A lot of what we're taught to about life and what we're taught to chase in life is external. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. There's nothing wrong with going after your dreams and, pursuing anything that you want in this life. I believe that you can have anything that you want in this life, but I believe it's more important to chase the internal, like your inner world. And what I mean by that is really knowing who you are on the inside. We hear the phrase be who you are a lot, but I think it's more important to know who you are. A lot of people don't take the time to know themselves and to be honest with themselves about what they actually want out of life. A lot of people go through life doing what other people want them to do and not doing things that they want to do because they're scared of what other people might think. So when I say to chase the internal more than the external, that's what I mean. I mean, chase what is inside of you and bring it out, bring it to light. Do everything that you can to live your life to the fullest. I love the quote, live full and die empty. It is so important to make sure that you are not self sabotaging, that are not giving into limiting beliefs, that you stop caring about what people think, because all of that is going to make life so much more beautiful and so much more worth living. Because when you start to chase the internal, when you really sit with yourself and figure out, what do I like, who do I like, what is the life that I want to live, who is the person that I want to become, when you start living your life according to that and doing everything in your power every single day to fulfill your internal world, things on the external are going to start to take care of themselves. And it's really important, like I said, to just make sure you sit down with yourself and you figure out what you want and be honest about what you really want, not what other people want for you, not what society is telling you you need, not what your parents, grandparents, family, friends, a lot of teachers, coaches. We all know that most people, most, not all, but most people do have your best interest in mind. Most people really are just trying to look out for you. Most people, just don't want you to get yourself into a position that you can't get yourself out of. And so they have good intentions when, for most of the time, when they're sharing their own advice and opinions with you. But sometimes it's projection. Sometimes other people's opinions can't help you because they haven't done hard things themselves, or they are struggling with their own insecurities and their own limiting beliefs and their own self sabotage. And so I love that saying, don't take advice from people who have not done what you want to do. Don't take advice from people who are not living lives that you admire. They can't help you. You know what I mean? So make sure that you are really living your life for yourself. That is going to make your life so much more beautiful when you are really, really chasing the inside more than the external. In our world, we focus way too much on the external. And people walk around, especially, again, not to be stereotypical, but in America, a lot of people walk around not even knowing who they are. And that's why things like midlife crises happen, and people get on their sick bed or on their deathbed and have so many regrets and things like that, because they walk around their entire lives never asking themselves what they actually want. A lot of people are just checking off boxes, and that's okay. Again, there's nothing wrong with you know finding success in work, finding financial success, starting a family, like creating the things that a lot of people want. There's nothing wrong with checking off those boxes, but you have to remember that you need to live your life for you. Like, your life is your own. You are responsible for your life. And so it's very, 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 very important to make sure that you are chasing everything in you, everything on the inside of you. And again, being very honest with yourself about what you want. Because a lot of people are lying to themselves about what they want. And a lot of people are lying to other people about what they want, because it might be different, or it's not average, or it doesn't go with society's expectations. Who cares? You get one life. You only get one of these, and whether you believe we come back or not, you're never coming back in that body. The body that you have right now, you're never gonna live in that body again. So it's very important to remember that you don't come here to stay. You get one life, and how you live it is up to you. So really take responsibility for your life. Take responsibility for the choices and the actions that you are making. Seek so much more internal wisdom and advice and guidance from yourself and from your own spirit and your own intuition, and rely less on the external. Again, like, when you're super dependent on people, when you're always going to other people, like, what should I do? What do you think about this? There's nothing wrong with getting second opinions. There's nothing wrong with seeking wise counsel. Like, there's nothing wrong with, allowing people to, speak into your life and provide you some guidance. But you need to know what you're doing with your life. You need to be a big girl, be a big boy, and, take responsibility for your life. That way, when things happen in your life, you're not blaming other people. Like, you are 100% responsible for your life. And it'll be easier for you to make decisions. It'll grow your confidence so much more when you can think for yourself. It'll grow your confidence so much more when you are not scared to say what's on your mind. It'll grow your confidence so much more and make life so much more beautiful when you can live your life for you. A beautiful life is one that is on your own terms. It's one that you're not scared to live. It's one that you are unapologetic about. And that's another thing that is going to make life really, really beautiful is being unapologetically who you are. I do have a podcast. I have a whole podcast episode on being unapologetically yourself. So go check that out. But it's really important to, again, know who you are, figure out who you are. If you don't know who you are, if you don't know your core personality traits, if you don't know what you like, if you're not honest about what you like. I know a lot of people who know what they want, but they're not honest about what they want, again, because they're just scared what other people are going to think, or they're scared, I don't know, they'll get struck by lightning if they admit the truth. Like, know thyself and be honest about what you want. A beautiful life is one that you can live unapologetically. It's one where that you can live and not care what other people think. A lot of people say, or a lot of older people say, like, they didn't stop caring what people thought until they're 60 and above. Start doing that now, whatever age that of life that you're in. Start living your life according to your own self. Start living your life according to what you like, and the life that you want to live, and the person who you want to become. No one is going to be able to live your life except for you. No one is going to be 60, 70, 80 years old with you. You're hopefully there will still be those people that you have in your life. Hopefully, they'll still be around and still be in your life, but you are all you have in this life at the end of the day. I don't care how many kids you have, your spouse, your family, like at the end of the day, you are all you have. We come into this world alone and we leave this world alone. And so it's very important. And don't leave a comment down below saying you're a twin, because that's you get the point. Like, you came here by yourself. But it's really important to remember that you just really do have to take responsibility for your life, and no one is going to be able to live your life except for you. And be honest about who you are and about what you want, and unapologetic about it. It's going to make your life so much more beautiful. It's going to provide you so much freedom. And the point I was making with age is to not wait until you get older to be who you want to be, to live the life that you want. Because, again, so many people just pretend to be someone they're not for the majority of their lives. And then midlife hits, and then they're like, damn, like, I don't like anything about my life. I don't know who I am. I'm getting older and I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I have no direction. I have no sense of purpose. And so do the internal work now to avoid some of that later, And you can do it no matter what stage of life that you're in. If you are someone older who is watching this, um, please comment, life lessons that you've learned down below. I would love to hear from you. I love studying people who are much older than me and people who I admire. A lot of them are, very influential people that have been a part of my life that I look up to and that I admire and that I learn a lot of life advice from, especially um, women who have, lived a lot of life and lived big lives. I admire them so much. Um, Cher is one of them. Martha Stewart is one of them. Dolly Parton, Iyanla Vanzant. I have so many, like, my Mount Rushmore of influential, more seasoned women who are so strong and who have lived such big lives, and are people who I just really look up to and admire, and who have been through so much and who have embraced the struggle and who have been loud and proud about who they are. If you have never read Cher's memoir, go read it. I think it's just her name. I think it's just called Cher. But if you haven't, um, if you don't know her story is amazing because she lived her life. A lot of what I'm talking about, um, a lot of her youth and young adult life, she spent in a relationship that was very abusive, and she thought she didn't have a choice, to get out of it, to the point where she didn't want to live life anymore. But it wasn't until she took responsibility and took ownership of the situation and made the decision to get herself out. It's a lot of times you have to accept the fact that no one is coming to save you. And this is why I talk so much in my videos about taking responsibility for your life. Because, again, no matter how much money you have, no matter how many fans you might have in this life, if you're a person who does have a platform or wants to have a platform, no matter what, like, it's the end of the day, you are all you have. And so your life is your responsibility. And it's very important to make sure that you are not letting things get so out of control and so out of your control that you can't, reel everything back in and that you can't take responsibility. Dolly Parton, if you haven't studied her story, go listen to some of her interviews. Go, you know, she's on a ton of podcasts. I listen to all of her old episodes. She does also have a book. I think her book is a cookbook though, but she has like a lot of like stories in her book. Oh, she has a book also with James Clear. It's a fiction. Is it fiction? Yeah, it's a fiction book. But anyway, go listen to some of Dolly Parton's story as well. She's been through so much business wise. She wrote the song "I Will Always Love You" that Whitney Houston re-recorded, but Dolly Parton wrote that song originally, and that was actually a song about her having to let go of her manager. And she talks a lot about the struggles that she's had in business as a woman and how hard it was, to again just take responsibility for her life. And I gained so much wisdom and so much strength from studying people who are older than me, and especially because I don't have grandparents, and I actually don't have any immediate family. If you haven't seen any of my videos, I lost my mom 2023, and my dad has never been in my life, and I don't have siblings. So it's just me. And so I have amazing family and I have good friends, but it's, nothing can replace having immediate family. And at 26, I don't have that. And so, like, luckily, I have so many people who I look up to, and obviously people in real life who I love and who, I have great relationships with, but so many people who I admire. I'm so blessed and privileged that we have the internet because I can learn from so many people from so many different walks of life. So, one of the other major ways to find beauty in life is to learn from people who you admire, from people who are living lives that you look up to, from people who are doing things that you want to do. Whatever field of work that you're in, make sure that you're studying people who have been in that same field. Make sure that you are, consuming information and studying people's life stories, who have made impacts that you look up to. A lot of times, especially with entertainers, we only see the surface level. Like we only see the stage version of them, and a lot of times we don't know their stories. And one of my favorite hobbies to do is to learn people's stories. I love, whatever artist I'm into or whoever, I've been looking up to my whole life. Like the women who I just mentioned are a few of them. But I love to know people's stories because what that does is it provides comfort and a reminder that, again, no matter how much someone has, no matter how much money, privilege, status, class, the color of their skin, none of us are exempt from struggle, and there's so much that you can learn from other people's stories. When life gets ugly, it can be isolating. It can feel like you're the only one going through it. Like I said, I lost my mom when I was 25. And one of the most isolating things you can ever go through is grief, is loss, and it's so comforting to remember that you are not the only one who has lost someone. And you're not going to be the last. You're not the first, and you're not the last. With whatever situation you might face in this life, there's nothing new under the sun, as that saying goes. And so, there's just so much wisdom that you can gain from other people. And so, one of the best things you can do to add more beauty into your life is if you do not consume content from people who are like 60, 70 up, start doing that. Find people who you admire. Martha Stewart is 80 years old. Actually, I think she's 81 or 82 now. Like, find people who you really look up to, really admire, and learn their stories and, let them just speak wisdom. I was about to say speak wisdom into you, but they're not talking directly to you, but you can learn things from them and from their lives. And also people in your real life. If you are blessed enough to still have your grandparents and you have a good relationship with them, spend time with them. Anyone in your family who is older than you or in your life, or even coworkers who, you might have a good relationship with and who, you have that rapport with and they're comfortable talking to you and sharing some of their stories with you. Um, if you are a part of a faith community and there are people there who are older than you that you can just spend time with and learn from. There are so many, especially seniors, they like to spend time with people up some of them. Some of them are just mean and old. But the ones who are good are great. And, you can learn so many life lessons from them. Spend time talking to people who have lived more life than you. Go through your social media, and if all you follow are people who are your exact same age, who look like you, who live in the same cities, like explore, like get out of your bubble, like get out of your own world. In addition to, learning from people who are older than you, it's so one of the best things that'll also add beauty into your life is making sure that you are getting out of your own little bubble. Like if you everyone who you talk to every single day are the exact same people in the exact same places, and you only know like your own little world, like you only know your little bubble. Make sure that you are expanding your view of the world. Life and the world is massive. Study people from other cultures. Even if you are in a place where you can't travel right now, start, watching vlogs. You're watching this on YouTube. Watch vlogs of people who live in other countries. Watch vlogs from, or, read articles or follow people on social media who don't look like you, who are living completely different lives from you. It's so important to keep, the view, your view of the world, like to open it. You know what I mean? So many times our lives get so boring and so mundane, and when especially when bad things happen, it can feel so isolating. One of those reasons is because, like I said, you do the same thing every day with the same people at the same times in the same places. Expand your view. Like, even if there are places in your city or your town that you haven't been to, go. If you haven't traveled out of your state before, or it's been a long time since you've done that, go. Like, get out of your comfort zone. That's something else that's going to make your life so much more beautiful and so much more fulfilling, is when you can get out of your comfort zone, when you can do things that scare you, when you can take risks, when you um just break up your routine. There's nothing wrong with routine. We all know that, habits are what builds our lives. Our routines are what builds our lives. But the point I'm making is, when you're trying to remember the beauty in life or find the beauty in life, open up your eyes. Like, allow your perception of the world to be bigger than your own little bubble. Remember that there's so many people in this world. There's so much more life than wherever you live. Like, again, you're not the only person who's going through whatever you're going through. Learn from other people who are going through the same thing. It's so just expansive. Go on Pinterest, make a Pinterest board of places you want to travel to. Just start doing new things, switch up your routine. Again, don't let life get so boring and so mundane and so, stagnant that you feel depressed, or that you're just creating your own depression for yourself. Go outside. You know what I mean? Go outside, learn from other people, um try new experiences, try new things, get out of your comfort zone. I've been wanting to start YouTube since I was in high school. You guys, I'm 26. I wanted to do YouTube since I was 16. Every single year since I was in high school until now, I have been recording videos that I've never uploaded. And unfortunately, I did, like I said, I lost my mom. And a part of my grief process and a part of me healing through grief has been to lean more into my creative outlets and to get out of my comfort zone and to just do things that I've been putting off, because it really was a wake up call to me that we do not come here to stay. And, you know, anything you're going to do, you might as well do it. Like, I think we put so much pressure on things and pressure on ourselves. And the reality is, none of us make it out of here alive. you know the reality is, nothing is really that serious. I think we make, and don't get me wrong, families responsibilities and taking care of a family and paying bills and all that stuff is adulting, it is serious. But I think we just put so much pressure on ourselves, and we, just become uptight more so than necessary. And we add so much stress and so much pressure to things that aren't always that hard or aren't always that deep. Like, sometimes you need to just let yourself be. Like, sometimes it's okay to rest. Sometimes it's okay to calm down. Not everything is a code red situation, even the bad things. Everything is not worth getting your panties in a bunch, as my mom would say. Like, everything is not um gonna break you. You're going to survive. Again, you're not the first person to go through something. You certainly won't be the last. And that is comforting in a strange way. It is very comforting to know that you somebody else lived through it. That means you can live through it too. Not everything is, again, just super hard as we make it. you know Allow yourself to calm down and to breathe. A big part of finding the beauty in life is being more simple. Make sure that you know that you can live your life simply, minimally. We actually don't need that many things to survive. You know what I mean? Like, most of us think, especially with social media and consumerism, think that we need 50 billion things to get us through the day every single day. What do you think people were doing before they had all these stores that we have, and online shopping and Amazon and social media and TikTok shop? Like, a lot of this stuff is new, and people were living fine, sometimes even more, much happier lives without all the stuff. So remember to a part of finding the beauty in life is minimizing the amount of stuff you have. Like, make sure that quality over quantity is should be like a number one, like, way to make your life better, to be a happier person. Quality over quantity is so important, because when you have too much stuff, it can clutter your brain. Like, it's like this decision fatigue. When you have too many choices, it's gonna stress you out. Like, just make life and make things as simple as possible and as seamless as possible. Have your go-to foods, have your go-to snacks, have your go-to clothes, your go-to products that you use. I know it feels like you need 50 billion different products. You don't. Just make sure that you have your staples and you stick to those. Like, it is okay to be minimal. I know that under consumption core is becoming a thing, which is so funny to me, because under consumption core is literally just how normal people live. I grew up in Baltimore City. Okay, I grew up right like right above the poverty line. My mom was a single mom. She raised me by herself. If it's anything related to struggle or being poor, I've been there. So, like, it's so funny to me that social media and consumerism has gotten so out of hand that under consuming has become a trend. Like, do you know how far we've gotten as a society? Like, when that is a thing, like, that is it gives me the ick. Like, it's so bad. Like, remember that less a lot of times less is more, and it's gonna, like, give you breathing room when you don't have so many things, literal physical things and mental things on your plate. Like, just, you got too many tabs open. Sometimes we've all done it, we've all been there, where it's like there's so much going on up here that nothing gets done at all. Minimize it. Say no to things. Don't let yourself buy certain things that you might really want. Think twice before you buy. Just go back to, like, the basics. Go back to the basics. There's so much beauty in the basics. Go back to, again, your staples, having your go-tos, the go-to people in your life, the people who you can trust, and just minimizing everything where you can, living a simple life, where you can, and as much as you can. Even if you're someone who does have big dreams and big aspirations, and, you know, is doing very well financially, like, it's okay to still keep your life simple, even as your finances or your net worth or your way of living increases. It doesn't mean that you need to buy everything. You know, if you have the means and you have more money than you know what to do with, what a great problem to have. But you can share it. Charity is a thing. There's a reason why so many of the wealthiest people are also philanthropists, because they have more than they can handle, like more money than they are going to spend in this lifetime. So they have charities and foundations. And, when you do get to the point of having, abundance, it's important to remember to share it, which is also another huge aspect to is another key to having beauty in your life, is to share. Sharing is caring. That's what I just thought about. But it is true. And you don't need a lot. to share or to help someone else. You can hold the door for people, those little acts of kindness every single day. Hold the door for someone, send a nice text, call someone when you know they might need it, smile at someone. I just naturally have RBF, which is resting B face. I'm a Scorpio. I just look mad most of the time. I try not to because I'm more aware of it now, but I also work in customer service and I also nanny, and so I'm around kids and children and just a lot of people a lot of the time, and so I've become more aware of my facial expression. Um, but just those little acts of kindness every day. If you can do one thing for someone every day, even if it's something tiny, um, then do that. You don't have a, to have a lot in order to help someone else. But that is going to add so much beauty in your life when you can. Having a purpose and living out your life's purpose is one of the keys to adding beauty in your life, to having beauty in your life. And the sooner you can get a sense of the things that you value, the sooner you can get a sense of your life's purpose and why you're here and the legacy that you want to leave behind and how you want to be remembered. It's the sooner you can figure that out, the sooner that you can be more intentional about the decisions and the choices that you make on a daily basis. And the sooner that you can, take the action steps and develop the mindset of the person who is working towards certain goals and towards a certain lifestyle and towards being a certain person. When you have that big picture vision of your life, it's going to help you so much to live a better, more beautiful, more intentional life, because you're not going to be doing things just to do them. You're not going to be saying yes to everything. It'll really help you to be intentional about the decisions that you make, the choices you make, the things you say no to, the things you say yes to on a daily basis. The hours make up the days, make up the months, make up the years of our lives. Every single thing that you do every day really does matter, from what you eat to how you sleep to your exercise to how much water you drink. Like, again, bring everything back to the basics. Life is not as hard as we make it. Bring everything back to the basics. Figure out what you like to do and do more of that. Figure out the things that make you happy, your hobbies, you know, the people, places, and things that you like to spend your time doing or your time with or your time going. Do as much of that as you can. Add more things into your life and then take out some more things some things into your life. Sometimes you'll have to do more of one than the other depending on the season of your life that you're in, depending on what you want out of life. But having a sense of purpose, and I always say to think about, I say it in every single video, think about yourself 60, 70, 80, maybe even 90, hopefully years old, looking back on wherever you are in your life right now. What are the memories that you want to have made? What are the things that you want to have done? What are the stories that you want to be able to have told? Like, how do you want to look back on your life, and what do you want to say that you've done, and do and live your life now according to that. Don't wait until you have everything that you want, or until the circumstances are perfect, or until everything is ideal in order to start living the life that you want. Find ways right now to do what you want to do. I love the quote, do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. But I personally have revamped that to do what you have to do and do what you want to do at the same time. Don't wait until everything is perfect again to do what you want to do. You don't have to wait. You know, doing what you have to do is like taking care of your responsibilities, you know, showing up when you don't feel like it, providing for yourself, for your family, handling your business, but don't let that, be all there is to your life. Find ways every single day, even if it's 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, an hour a day, to devote to doing something that really fulfills you and to doing something that gives you meaning and purpose in your life and that really fulfills you, especially if you feel like you're doing something that you just have to do, like you and most people do it with work. Like, you might not be working your dream job right now, but you have a big picture, you have a bigger vision for your life, and you just have to do what you have to do right now. um do what you have to do until you and do what you want to do, and I'm doing that with YouTube. One of my passions is creating content, something I love to do. is to create content, is to do videos, is to do my podcast. And yes, I'm still working two, sometimes three jobs. And a lot of weeks I'm working 7 days a week. But I know that this is something that I'm passionate about. And so I make time to do it even when I don't feel like it. Just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean it's always going to be easy to do. Sometimes when you really have a big goal, or when you have, you know, things that you really want to do, it's going to take some kind of sacrifice. Sometimes that sacrifice is going to be sleep. Sometimes that sacrifice is going to be money. Sometimes the sacrifice is going to be saying no to socializing. But it's only for a period of your time. Remember that nothing lasts forever. Wherever it is that you are right now, you're not going to be there forever. So use whatever season of life that you're in to your advantage. Even when bad things happen, even the difficult times in your life, there's always a silver lining in everything if you look hard enough. If you look hard enough, you can find the good in anything. Same thing with people. If you look hard enough, you can find the good in anybody. I know that that's depending on the person, that can be very hard to do. You might need a magnifying glass for some people and for some things, but it's there if you look hard enough. But there's so many different ways to add more beauty and more peace and more fulfillment into your life, but purpose is a huge one. Figuring out what you're good at, what comes naturally to you, what do people compliment you on, what lights you up, what lights a fire under your butt, what really makes you happy and brings you joy, and just it's fun. Huge way to add beauty into your life is to have more fun and to figure out what is fun for you. And that's also going to help you to do things when you don't feel like doing them. Like I said, a lot of times things that you're passionate about might not be easy to do, especially if you're tired, especially if you don't feel like doing them. Might be something that you're super passionate about and very enthusiastic and excited to do, but it doesn't mean it's always going to be easy to do it. And so you have to make sure that it's fun for you as well. Add as much fun into your life as possible. Again, I know being an adult can be serious and we have so many responsibilities, and it can be boring and it can be depressing. Find things that are fun, and use your imagination, have that childlike faith, do things that you again just open you up to new ideas and new experiences. Get out of your own little bubble and remind yourself there's so much more to life and so much more to the world than your own life and then your own little world. And so just you know find ways to add more fun into your life, do things that give you purpose, do things that really fulfill you and that light you up. Go spend time with someone who is, I don't like the word old, but go spend time with someone who is way more seasoned than you are, who has lived a lot more life than you have. And go spend some time with them, learn from them, even if it's just virtually, like I do. Even if you don't have many of those people in your life who you know personally, you have the internet. You can learn from people who have lived a lot of life and who have a lot to offer the world and who are sharing their stories. It's so comforting to learn from other people. It also just shows the beauty in life as we get older. So many people are scared of getting older, but it is a privilege to get older. Not everybody makes it to 70. Not everybody makes it to 80, and most people don't make it to 90. So live your life, you know, remind yourself that getting older is a privilege. Remind yourself that older people are a privilege. Learn from them, do things that really make you feel good, and live for yourself. If you don't get anything else from this video, take responsibility for your life. It's going to make your life more beautiful when you are living for you. If you guys have any takeaways from this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have things that you love to do to add more beauty in your life and that, help you to find the beauty in life, please leave those down below. And give this video a thumbs up. Go subscribe to the channel. If you haven't seen the other videos in this series, it's a spring thing. Go check those out, and I'll talk to you guys in my next one. Bye.